This here is Vikram. He worked on the ISS tracker. A lot of what you see here today is after 6 weeks of work, but a lot of the work is done in those really tough middle 2 weeks. And that was no different for Vikram. A lot of the time, when the students are struggling, sometimes the instructors are struggling, everyone gets frustrated, and it's just part of the process. But for Vikram, he had this one issue in the middle of the camp. And we tried this, we tried that, and nothing would work. And eventually, after a week, it took a hard reset, and then we had to start from the beginning and get back to where we were to kind of fix this issue. So I'm really proud of Vikram for keeping his persistence up, persevering through this project, especially when it gets tough. And as engineers, I think we all know that it's just part of the process. You just have to retry until it works. So I'm really proud of Vikram, and he's here to show you his ISS tracker.
Hello everyone, I'm Vikram and my project is the ISS tracker. Well, it's pretty self-explanatory. What it does, it tracks the International Space Station, or the ISS. Why did I choose it? Well, I want a career in aerospace engineering, and this was one of the 2 aerospace projects that were there. So, how does it work? The ISS tracker, the Pi portal, which is what it is, connects to the internet, gets an API, an application programming interface that tracks the International Space Station. It then takes a dictionary, a bunch of key value pairs, takes the latitude and longitude parts, puts it into the code, does a lot of math, since latitude and longitude are spherical on a sphere, and this is a rectangle on a 2D plane. It converts the latitude and longitude to coordinates on the bitmap. That is a bitmap. Project demo, here we have the time, the date, and this is the ISS. This is part of the modification. This is the latitude and longitude of the ISS. So let's get into my modification, which was to be able to track the CSS, the Chinese space station. So I was interested in how this tracks the ISS, how it got to an API. And I was also interested to replicate the process for myself to see if I could do it. And as I was searching, I saw all these websites with a bunch of these satellites. While this is loading up, I'll quickly talk over my next steps. You can see the date and time there, the latitude and longitude. So sadly, I didn't have enough time to do all the modifications I wanted. One of the major modifications was that this had a touchscreen model. We never got to utilize that. So the first thing I would do is have touchscreen functionality and actually have a use for it to be touchscreen. Maybe you can zoom in and out. Maybe you could navigate through some menus, or navigate through. Oh, I want to see all the different types of space stations there are. That's the Chinese space station. Time, date, latitude, and longitude. So my biggest challenges, what Brian said, nothing was working. Apparently because some files were missing. I may have deleted some of them, but some files were missing, and so I had to hard reset it, get back to where I was, which was kind of easy since I actually backed up my code, and lo and behold, we can track the International Space Station. Now, what did I learn here? Bootcamp is a school, and at schools you learn. So I came here a coder with very beginning Python level knowledge, and I came out, well, I'm still a beginner, but I now see the sheer potential of what you can do. I know more about APIs, Python, Adafruit, differences between variables and dictionaries, and yeah, I said the potential. So, does anyone have any questions?
Would it be possible to display both the CSS and the ISS at the same time?
No. His question was, would it be possible to display both the ISS and CSS at the same time? The answer is no. So how the code works, it creates a Pi portal object with a URL and a JSON path. You need exactly one for each space station. you can only have one running in the entire code. To have both of them at the same time, you need two PyPortal objects with two URLs and two JSON paths running at the same time, and CircuitPython just will not allow that. No. It takes too much space. It's too big.
So you mentioned that some of the files were deleted. Was it not possible to just like reinstall the files back in? What was the conclusion of the hard reset?
No, I could not find those files online. Those files were just there on startup. Those are the factory default files.
What if I wanted to track another station instead of just ISS or CSS? Would it be easy to do that, or like what would be the steps? I'd say, yeah.
I mean, the steps to do it, first you'd have to find the API, find all the different things for the API. The API for the ISS was OpenNotify, which is incredibly easy. Meanwhile, for the CSS, it was N2YO. The CSS needed you to have an account authentication, needed the observer's latitude and longitude for it to actually work. So yes, I mean, I made it in the same format as the existing code, so it was quite easy for me. So I think it would be quite easy. You just have to account for all the differences. Obviously, there would be like variable changes. In the original ISS code, the variables were latitude and longitude, but we had sat latitude and sat longitude for the CSS. Does that answer your question?
I know that there's different projections on a map, right? Like there's like a vertical projection or like the maps like the different shapes. So on a rectangular map like this, where like it looks like it's a rectangle, like how does the map translate? Or is there a lot of math involved to get it to show up?
Yes, there is a lot of math involved. Some of which I don't entirely understand, yes, but there is a lot of math involved, from getting coordinates on a spherical from a sphere into points on a flat rectangle.